So when you look at the situation, you got to ask yourself, why didn't these people say that it was superior for them to tell their children, hey, this guy is Christ, and our family went out of our way to be close to him, instead of trying to replace me and say that they're Christ and that their kids are Christ? First of all, let's look at the Declaration of Independence real briefly. I'm probably going to get cut off in this video. Long story. It says that they hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. They're not. What they're getting at, as they owned slaves, was that they wanted people to believe that there's no such thing as a righteous man with a moral inheritance or a divinely inspired birth, okay, which creates a true leader. You know, a generational righteous inheritance. A long line of righteous people. Here comes this guy who has evolved to be righteous. Instead, they said, forget all that moral stuff. Be racist, own slaves, put people beneath you, and use your privileged education and your articulation and the worldly intelligence to say that you're superior. So what is the Bible about? The Bible is about Jesus looking around at the world and saying there's not righteousness here. So stop reproducing. Luke 23, blessed are the childless women. Then he said, you know, on his way to die, because before that he had said that the world is evil, okay? And that you're better off saying what is the right thing to say and getting yourself killed rather than planting your seed. He said, pick up your cross and follow me. Did he have a child in the Bible? No. Did he die for righteousness' sake? Yes. In the Sermon on the Mount, did he argue, blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven? Yes. So what you are supposed to do is argue, this is right, and try to rally people together, not just to be heard saying it, but to actually try to get people to do what's right, to end poverty, end rape, end senseless violence, end exploitation, end covert drugging, end unfair treatment, to demand justice for the widow and for the orphan and for the poor, and to demand that people love their families. And to put God first is loving your family, the soul of your family. Say, this is my family. Little kids run up and hug me and say, thank you for telling my family to love me. With focused moral intensity, love derived from justice. All courage starts with moral precision, a willingness to die for moral precision. So he said, hey, step up to the plate. Be screened out. Isaiah 57 told us that God's plan, like the sky separating itself from the earth as the universe was formed, as the earth was formed, okay, the sun rising in the morning, figuratively, metaphorically, symbolically, in a message from nature, saying to separate your good from this world, to stop planting your seed, because the people in charge aren't smart enough to not persecute me without cause when I don't even have a chance to overthrow them, because I am a man that God made anointed because of generational righteousness, which is given the laborer his wages, which includes his ability to give an inheritance to his children. Wisdom is proven right by her children. Wisdom is proven right by her deeds. Wisdom is proven right by her insistence that the righteous man and men historically have suitable helpers, and their willingness to die for this insistence. Rejecting eugenics. Rejecting the abuses that come with confusing people about what they want and who they are, which leads to them having sex with people they shouldn't have sex with, and having unwanted children, and having one of them go to prison. Having crack babies being born because of a greater conspiracy in the society to reject morality. God said to Samuel, listen to what the people are saying. It is not you they have rejected as king. It is God. It is the source of moral precision, righteousness, and justice. When I serve God, it's with all my heart. That is the greatest commandment, and I've been anointed with this greatest commandment. Love God with all your heart and all your being. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I would have them be ready to die at any time to tell me the truth about God, to insist on romantic injustice, to leading by example, doing what God wants, keeping his commands. The parable of the tenants, the parable of the 10 virgins, the wise and foolish servants, the 10 minas, the wise and foolish builders. Build on wisdom, which is the fruit of righteousness. So build on the foundation of righteousness. It can't be done in this world because of tech, breeding, and generational ill-gotten gains. So one has to go up to God, and they have to get there by facing the enemy and saying, this is what's right. And after I die, the offspring of the world are going to be wondering on some level why God has forsaken them. Because the governing class is so evil that they persecute me without cause, knowing that the logical assumption is every generation people are going to say, why is this world so evil? Knowing that they could have been that generation that brought justice and God's kingdom to the earth, but instead they brought the despicable, depraved, and pitiful Luciferian doctrine, changed my image and my voice because they did not want you to hear what a man of God sounds like without them editing the audio, without them fuming and poisoning me. Every day I cut them off from the fortress of Zion in the sky. The blind and the lame, who are so evil that they've damned their children. Some of you think it's not fair. Is it fair to cut the righteous off from a suitable helper? To have a suitable family? And the possibility for them to say, hey, it's worthwhile to have a kid on this world? Is it fair when someone throws their kid off a cliff? Is that fair? Well, they still die. Just like gravity, that's justice from God. That is fair. If your parents are such evil DNA that they would throw you off the cliff just because they're evil, then then you should die. If your family is so evil that they would persecute me without cause and follow the devil instead of me in a life that's short, then let your offspring go to hell. Because that's far too evil to enter the gates of heaven. That DNA is far too disgusting. No bad tree bears good fruit. And the finest fruit from God that is set apart as your leader being rejected is a crime that's worse than all the other crimes that ever were put together. This is the most important time in human history. And they are so evil. They defied God during it. What more needs to be said? The prince of this world stands condemned, and those who were inclined to follow the pack when God's top martial artists came back, to hell with them.